Welcome to Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy. UFC Fight Night Houston just concluded, and I'll be giving you my recap over the entire card, starting with the early prelim opener of Juliana Miller and Carly Judice. It was a solid card, it was a solid fight. Not a lot to talk about in this one. Judice's boxing and her striking is fairly good. It was a very not dominant but very clear win for Judice. I thought Miller's very tough. There's a few times in there where she probably could have been finished if she had some more quit in her, but she didn't. She stuck it out to the end. Judice got this one done though by decision. Moving on, we have Jordan Levitt versus Yadier Del Val. Kind of crazy what happens when you don't pay someone to lose for you, I guess. We found out Yadier. Very boring fight though. You got him on the ground. You're being dominant on the ground, sure. Throw some punches. Throw some ground and pound. Later on in the card, we have some very dominant ground and pound finishes. And, a $25,000 bonus for a finish should get everyone throwing punches. I don't really understand why he just held him down. He was content with that. Del Val outstruck him 76-45. But yeah, Levitt won on control. Not a whole lot of damage to score in this fight. Moving on, we have Phil Rowe versus Jean Paul. I thought it was pretty clear for Jean Paul. It was a split decision. I thought it was fairly clear. Phil Rowe still got it. He can still scrap in there. But Jean Paul's the real deal. He is good. He's got the sauce. If he gets a little bit more experience under his belt, I could see him, definitely becoming ranked. Maybe sitting somewhere around like the 7-8 mark here in a couple of years, year and a half, 2 years time. He definitely has to get some more experience in him. He did leave himself open. Someone with a little bit more experience in the striking, or not necessarily experience in the striking, but someone with cleaner striking than Phil Rowe could probably expose Jean Paul, find his chin. But it didn't happen. Split decision. I felt it was more of a unanimous, more clear decision for Jean Paul. Commentary was calling him JPL. I don't know if that'll stick on, but decision for Jean Paul. I am now 2-1 on this card so far. Next up, we have Ramiz Brahimaj versus Punahele Soriano. I chose Soriano to win. He won. This guy is strong. First round, Brahimaj, he was doing very good. And then after that, he kind of, I don't know if he was sick during fight camp or what happened there, but after about the first round, gas tank went way downhill. Soriano got it done though. Very strong man. Pretty clear. See here, round one. 31-21, 31-17 for significant strikes. Everything he was throwing was a significant strike. Then round 2, dropped down to 10. 5 significant strikes. He did try wrestling more later in the fight, but pretty well just gassed himself out after that first round. Couldn't deal with Soriano. Soriano was coming down. This isn't his first fight at welterweight, but he used to be a middleweight, so he's a big guy. Got a big frame. Brahmas just couldn't deal with it. Unanimous decision win for Soriano, and that's another correct pick for Wheezy MMA. Jocelyn Edwards versus Nora Knoll. I'm going to be honest on this one. I went out and smoked a cig. Pulled a little Carlos Prates, smoked a cig during this fight. I came back about 5 seconds before the slam, though. So I did see the finish. And I gotta say, I'll eat my words. Jocelyn Edwards, I was not familiar with your game. Congratulations. In my breakdown for this fight, I said who cared. I said she was going to stay on the outside. Point fight. Obviously, that didn't happen. Picked up Nora, just slammed her straight to her back, and just started unleashing shots to the head. I thought it should have been called a lot sooner than it did, because Edwards got credited with a submission, when this clearly should have been a TKO, in my opinion. She picked up Nora, slammed her, just started throwing shots to her head. Eventually, Nora wound back up kind of on her knees or on her feet. Edwards picked her up, slammed her again, I believe, and then found her way to the back, got the rear naked choke. After the fight, Nora was kind of writhing there on the ground in pain. It looked like her shoulder or arm was messed up from the slam, or one of the slams, maybe. Hoping for a speedy recovery there. But, yeah, another correct pick for Wheezy of Wheezy MMA. What can I say? I did very good on this card. Next up, Alden Correa versus Luis Garul. I chose Correa to get it done. He got it done. Excuse me. It was a decent fight. Garul, he can stand and bang. He's gonna go out there and try and finish it till the very last bell. Obviously, he didn't necessarily have what it takes to get it done this fight, but I mean, it was a good scrap. It was a good scrap. I'll say that. Fairly clear decision for Alden Correa. I believe he was the hometown kid, fighting out of Houston or a surrounding city to Houston. But yeah, it was a solid scrap. Another correct pick. Moving on, we have Ode Osborne and Alibi Idris. Chose Alibi to get it done, and he got it done. Surprise. Yeah, his wrestling was just too much for Ode. He on the feet, he was kind of wild, man. Kind of just throwing like a bar fight, to tell you the truth. He'd kind of step in and just loop in these big hooks or these big overhands. Sometimes they would land, and they were very detrimental. So I understand why he was doing it. But, someone a little further on down the line will probably be able to counterpunch and excel in that kind of area when someone's just looping these big shots. So I'd like to see him tighten it up a little bit. The wrestling is solid, very good on the ground. But yeah, let's see here. I think he got 5 of 15. Five. I mean, that's solid. One in the first round, 2 in the second, and then 2 in the third. Yeah, I felt it was a very clear win for Levy. Um, Again, I chose him to win, so that might be a little bias there. But on to the next for him, and on to the next for us. We have Chidi Njokuani and Carlos Leal. I chose Chidi to win. I chose him to win by TKO KO. That did not happen. Leal is just a brick wall walking towards you. You know, he was eating loads of kicks in that first round and just chucking bombs. He is a brawler. He likes to fight. And he's just got these crazy eyes, man. Even right now, you can kind of see it. He's just staring you down, you know, he's just ready to go. And I like it. I think he will do good in this welterweight division. Very tough guy. Very tough guy. He ate some big shots. I believe he ate a head kick or a couple of head kicks. I could be wrong. Might have partially blocked it. But yeah, Carlos Leal got this one done. Very tough man. Alright, next up, we have main card, Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. I chose Zach Reese to get this one done. According to the judges, he did not. I feel like 2 and 3 are clearly Zach Reese rounds. I'll have to rewatch it before I claim robbery. It was a very close fight. I'll say that. Michel Pereira did bust up Zach Reese's nose. I'm not sure if that was in the first. It was early on. I believe it was first round. It could have been early second round. But he did bust up Zach Reese's nose, so he was bleeding throughout the fight. Pereira did not have a lot of damage on him, so I do kind of see the win on Pereira's side, but not even being biased, I think Zach Reese won this fight. It is what it is. Split decision. Clearly one judge also thought Zach Reese won this fight. I thought 2 and 3 were clearly his rounds. It's the way she goes sometimes, Congrats to Michel Pereira getting this one done. He did look very different than the last couple of fights he's had. Third round, it looked more like a vintage Pereira, but I still believe Zach Reese did enough to win the second and the third round and should have won the fight. Again, congrats to Michel Pereira for getting it done by decision. Next up, we have Jacoby Smith and Josiah Harrell. I flip-flopped on this one in the original in my fight predictions video. I was all for Josiah Harrell until I saw that he was 5'7", and you know the meme, be quiet, there's a 5'7" man talking with hate in his heart. Listen and learn. What? Sorry. As I was saying, have you ever seen the meme where it's like, there's a 5'7" man with hate in his heart speaking, listen and learn? I was fully prepared to listening and learning. I'm very glad I didn't, though. He got slimed out in the first round. Like I said, I flip-flopped on my picks here. I am glad I went with Jacoby Smith. He got it done. Very, very dominant win in the first round. Got a bonus. Uh, I wouldn't be surprised if he got. No. I take that back. Definitely got a finish bonus. Extra 25 grand on top. And yeah, I mean, it was an okay fight before this happened, but Jacoby Smith is a dog. Improves to 12-0. And yeah, I'm not sure what's next for him. He did have a call out. He called out Kevin Holland after his fight, which I think is a solid call out, but we'll see if he gets that fight. Yeah, Jacoby Smith got this one done. First round TKO over Josiah Harrell. Got into a bit of a crucifix position and just punished him with ground and pound. He was out and then ate a few shots afterwards that he probably shouldn't have. That's the game. That's the way it goes. You don't like to see it, but it happens. Yeah, Jacoby Smith got this one done. That's another correct pick for Wheezy MMA. Next up, we have Sergey Spivak versus Ante Delija. I chose Spivak to win here by submission. I thought he was going to fluke like an arm triangle or Kimura or something on Delija here. He didn't. He came out, and it was a stand-up fight. Spivak's boxing and striking has improved tenfold since the last time I've seen him fight. Pretty solid fight. 102 punches thrown. I don't think I've ever thought I was going to say 100 plus punches thrown from Sergey Spivak ever. But here we are. It was a solid fight. He did get busted up. I think he might have busted a nose or something. He was bleeding. He cut Delija early. He was bleeding. But yeah, it was a solid scrap between the two of them. I chose Spivak in the Wheezy Sleazy Parlay. It was the double chance, so sub or decision. So that would have hit. I didn't later on in the card, of course, but yeah, I chose Spivak to win here. He did, and I'm proud of him. He improved a lot since his last fight, and I'm excited to see where he goes from here. Number 7 at heavyweight, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, ranked fights from here on out. Now, we have Dan Ige versus Melky Costa. Chose Costa to get it done. He did. First round. Spinning back kick. Ige kind of ducked down into it. It was a solid scrap. Costa was clearly winning up until that point, in my opinion. But, yeah, spinning back kick, Ige kind of ducked down into it, clipped him on the nose, sat him down. Early stoppage, in my opinion. I would have liked to see it go to a round 2. I do think this outcome would have happened regardless, but a bit of an early stoppage, in my opinion. 4 seconds left. 4 seconds left in the round. Let it go to a round 2. He wasn't eating super heavy shots. But yeah, solid win by Costa. He threw his cup into the crowd after his win. Pulls his cup right out of his shorts here. Right out of his shorts. And just chucks it into the crowd. Special souvenir for someone. I bet they are very hyped. I do actually think they had him sign it as he was walking back to the locker room. I think I think they pulled him aside and had him sign his cup that they caught, which is wild. Uh, hey, get the headline, brother. He is ex-black. That his Twitter. I don't know. It must be his Instagram. One of his bios for his social media said he was ex-black because he has the pigmentation disease, the Michael Jackson disease, which makes his skin change. But yeah, no, solid fight, solid first round, solid finish by Melky Costa. Gets it done, gets the bonus. Congratulations. Another correct pick. Going up, this is where it went wrong. Jeff Neal, I love you. You might be able to beat a couple of unranked people, but you might be wanting to look into hanging it up, Look into other avenues of revenue, perhaps. And I hate to say that because I do like to watch you fight. You do like to bang. You like to just stand there and throw. And you do have a fun fight style. But I do have to say, Uros Medic is very, very strong with his punches, with his strikes. And he kind of just looped a very nice left hook right up over the shoulder, connected right on the temple of Jeff Neal, slimed him out. Yeah, I do like watching Jeff Neal fight, but it might be time for him to hang him up. He is getting older. I'm not sure exactly how old he is, but he is getting up there in age. He's on a few fight skid now, all by KOs, all by fairly brutal KOs. I like to watch him fight, but I don't know how many more times we should watch him fight, if you know what I mean. Medic. Very, very good fight by you, though, sir. Yeah, round one, just slimes out Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal has died. Yeah, congratulations, Uros Medic. He killed the parlays, killed all the money I had, but it's the way she goes. That's life. What can I say? What can I say other than I told you so? He didn't get it by decision. It wasn't by decision like I initially suspected. But Sean Strickland won this fight very clearly, very, very definitively. In the first and second round, Hernandez was doing good. It was a solid scrap. They were standing and throwing. Hernandez tried to wrestle. Strickland shut it down very easily. He had no issue staying up on the ground, or staying off of the ground, staying on his feet. Hernandez was doing good though. And then third round, Strickland hits him with a knee right up the middle, straight to the body. And Hernandez's hands drop. Strickland starts piecing him up. Puts him away. Round 3 TKO for Sean Strickland. I think he gets a title shot. There's some weird stuff going on right now. They're saying Chimaev for light heavyweight title. I don't necessarily believe that. We'll see. I might have to eat my words on that. But I think Strickland gets a title shot off of this, whether it be for vacant or fighting Chimaev. I think if it's against Chimaev, I think Strickland beats the ever-living dog shit out of Khamzat Chimaev. Excuse me. Ugh. Yeah, solid fight. 111 strikes landed for Strickland. 242 thrown by him. Everybody's saying, "Oh, Strickland's not fun to watch. Strickland's boring. I felt like this was a fairly entertaining fight. You know, it wasn't just like an all out brawl. It wasn't a straight bar war, you know, but it was an entertaining fight. I had fun watching this. My cat who was sitting with me had fun watching this, you know, and he is a very distinguished fight fan, you know, so you really gotta trust his opinion on these things. Um, but yeah, like I said, Sean Strickland was going to win that fight, and he did. I went 10-4, I believe, for this card. Yep, I went 10-4 for this card. My only losses were Del Val, Chidi, Reese, and Neal. And like I said before, I thought Reese actually won his fight. So if it were up to me, I'd be saying 11-3, but it's not. So I'll take the L on that one. 10-4. This has been Wheezy MMA. I'm Wheezy, and I'm out. Have a good one.